I saved the best for last, or the worst for last, whatever, however you want to see this. So it's talking about surface area, lateral surface area, total surface area, and you got all these prisms and cylinders. How fun, how fun. And if you go to a cool formula chart and you see those crazy pH plus whatever, that's even more fun. I'm not a big crazy fan of those crazy formulas, as you can tell. I just use the old-fashioned thing called my brain. I know, it's pretty cool, right? Off we go. Let's go talk. So I'm looking at this shape in particular. So, you know, I like my nets a lot. Actually, I'm going to finish drawing the other piece. There's a box here and a box here. So you've got 6 little pieces. So you'd have 4 walls and the 2 ends that flip. Now, if you want total, that's total. If you want lateral, you want walls only. So lateral would be wall, 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 wall. If you want total, it would be walls. Actually, there's 4 of them, plus the top, plus the bottom. And my kids, we call that the floor and the ceiling. Why not? That's usually where I keep the floor and the ceiling. So that's kind of where we're at. So I want to play with these. I usually teach both at the same time, so just kind of bear with me. I do both, lateral and total. Why not? So let's go to this question. So let's pretend I have 3 kids, and they got to trade papers, like we have odd numbers in classes as well. How would those 3 kids trade their papers? Well, 2 people can't trade, and one sit there look at them like they're crazy. And I don't really care to solve your own problems for you. I got other things to do. So how are these 3 kids going to trade? And I've had the kids tell me in class they're going to trade like a kind of a triangle pattern. They're going to all just kind of rotate it. And I think that's the best answer possible. So I'm going to write total surface area. I will do lateral here in a minute, but I'm going to do both at the same time. And so I'm going to talk about kid 6, kid 4, kid 8. Kid 6 paper will go to kid 4. Kid 4 paper will go to 8. And kid's 8 paper is going to go back to 6. Pretty smart, right? So 6 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 back to 6. It kind of makes this little triangle thing going on. 6 to 4, 4 to 8, and then back. There's your little triangle. And so how many faces are on a rectangular prism, a box, a cube? How about 6? So I'm going to draw 6 boxes. And I know it says lateral. I can read it. I want to do total. Yep. So there are all 6 of them. Now, let's play lateral real quick. On lateral, don't you do all the walls only? So you wouldn't do the bottom. Who's the bottom on this shape? Wouldn't that be the 4 by 6? So let's talk lateral surface area really quick. So you would omit the 4 and the 6. So that would be the first one. So it's really 4 times 8 and 8 times 6. You would need 2 boxes. And you would add those boxes, by the way. So wouldn't that be 32 plus 32 plus 48 plus 48? 32 plus 32 plus 48 plus 48, as long as I can multiply. Yep, that's right. And whatever that answers is, that's your lateral. The end. What about over here? Wouldn't that be 24, 24, 32, 32, 48, 48? Add all that craziness up, and that's your answer. I just did total surface area and lateral surface area for a box. Pretty wicked. What if they gave this crazy net? Well, that's cool too. Wouldn't they have all these numbers all over the place? Sure they would. Wouldn't they have like 3 common numbers? You would figure out what 3 numbers are familiar and use those 3 numbers just like we did. And I want to show you something else. Let me find a clean spot. Total surface area. Ready? We're traders. Yes, we are. Always. Why? Because we trade our papers to grade. Traders, traders, traders. Yeah, I know. Total surface area. Even though I'm doing lateral, I'll always write total, and then I just draw a line through what I don't want. Pretty simple. So, let's go look at some questions. Question 1. Total surface area, right? By the way, see that inches squared? It's not volume either. So if I wrote total surface area, I should also see this word beside traders. You're a trader through and through. Why? You trade papers all day long. So who's paper 4 going? 4 goes to 6, 6 goes to 3, 3 goes back to 4. How many boxes will you need? 6 in all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's going to be 24 plus 24 plus 18 plus 18 plus 12 plus 12. And you get the answer B. No, I'm not going to take the time to add for you. Question 3. What is that? Looks like traders to me. And it says lateral surface area. Fine, write total surface area. Now it's traders. So, traders. You're a trader. You're going to trade that paper. So wouldn't that be 9 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 back to 9, Don't you need 6 boxes? Where did I get 6 boxes from anyway? Just randomness? I don't think so. There's 6 faces in that cube. Box, rectangle. What's the bottom shape besides square, rectangle? Isn't that a 5 by 6? Omit the 5 by 6s. So then you're going to do 45 plus 45 plus 54 plus 54, and that's your answer. I know, pretty simple, right? Let's do a cylinder. I like those even better. So what about cylinders? So you go to this handy dandy formula chart and you look up the word oatmeal. Yeah, sure you do. How about the word cylinder? And how about the word total surface area? So you got surface area cylinder. I can get this on screen for you. And it's a nice formula. So 2 pi RH plus 2 pi R squared. Real quick, you want a screenshot of this formula chart? Let me scoot over and get it in. So real quick, you've got slope-intercept form, you've got direct variation. By the way, that means proportional. Slope of a line, that's y is on top, x is on bottom, or m for linear. And then you got circumference, which is distance around a circle. And you can ask my fish, he swims around, his name is circumference. Area, so you got half base height for a triangle, you got base height for a rectangle, you got a trapezoid. By the way, if you have a trap, those bases are kind of the floor and the ceiling, and you put it in and off you go. Height better be right or you did it wrong. Pi, radius, I never used that little 2. You got surface area. Let me scoot up. Hang on. I'm edge to edge on my screen. Yep, it's about as close as I can get. So you got a prism, you got lateral. And remember, what is laterals? Walls only. I don't do this pH thing business, drives me crazy, but I do like that one, and I like that one. So I don't do these P's ones. For me, if the cylinder, I'm just going to figure out all the total pieces. So add all the faces, and that's your answer. And if you want lateral, only add the walls. Next, volume. Wouldn't that be volume equals base times height? And wouldn't you put the shape of a circle or a rectangle or a triangle, depending on what the shape of the base is, and multiply by height? Height or right, or you did it wrong. Sorry about the flickering. Pyramids, cones, same answer. You'd have to put the shape of the base here and multiply by height. Spheres, 4/3 pi, radius. That's nice. Pythagorean theorem, a squared, b squared, c squared. Simple interest. You just put your numbers in. And lots of times, by the way, if you're missing one of these, put that in y1, y2, y not. Interest is interest only, not total. This money and this money are both your monies. So just be mindful of that. Usually if they give you a big number, these two would subtract out. And then compound interest. You've got principal, you've got $1 plus the rate, which is interest rate, parenthesis, and that's an exponent of time. Alrighty, so continuing on. So I'm going to write 2 pi RH plus 2 pi RR. That's 4 pieces plus 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You put a 2 pi. What's the radius on that thing? 5. Tall is 18. I should have wrote bigger boxes. I got a 2 pi and a 5 and a 5. Reminder, height. Sorry, it's off screen. Height. And that is your radius. I had a student tell me it looks like a faucet. I'll take that answer too. Multiply that together. Be sure to add. Answer's D. That one's not too bad. I kind of like it. What about the lateral one? Well, it'd just be 2 pi RH, and then you stick the numbers in, and off you go. Yeah, and B's a great answer, huh? You think 1,000, 1,000, 3,000, and 122,000 is a good answer. Said nobody. Don't pick that. What about the triangle prisms thing? Yep, I can hear the moanings. Cut that out. Would you agree with the net? It would be 3 rectangles, a triangle, and another triangle. Might as well, it's true. So would you agree? Yeah, I know I'm tired. That's a rectangle, rectangle, rectangle. How about base height, base height, base height? Triangle, triangle. How about half base height, half base height? So I'm going to write those out. Base height, base height, base height, half base height, half base height. And if you can find me some numbers, I'm going to add all this up and I'm done. And I don't have to play with that dumb formula with P's. So, isn't this thing 40 tall? Yep, I think so too. So 40, 40, and 40. Now I'll let you cheat. It says equilateral triangle. So that means if this piece is 28, so is this one, so is this one. By the way, your STAR test won't have that. they're going to say, figure it out yourself. And you're going to have to come down here, draw a little right triangle, get 14 here. And where'd you get 14? I chopped 28 in half. And then I put a right angle here. I get 24.2. You're supposed to solve for x. That means you're going to do 24.2 squared plus 14 squared makes x squared. By the way, those go in those boxes, right? And then that's y1, y2, y naught. And that's going to come up with like 27.96. Because aren't you putting that in y1, y2, and then you cross them, and then you do second trace 5, 3 enters later. And I'm going to round that answer to 28. By the way, which is where we started to begin with. They told you it was equilateral. So, just in case they don't, that's how you find it. Are they always equilateral? Never. What about this half base height, half base height? Now, I gave you a demonstration in class, and some of you are real impressed. Wouldn't a half a piece of paper plus a half a piece of paper be a piece of paper? So why would you want me to tear it in half, tape it back together, just to give you a piece of paper? It would be easier just to give you the paper and not tear it in half. Because a half and a half makes a whole. So if you think about this, you've got one triangle. If you add another triangle to it, I think you get a rectangle. So why don't you omit this? Why don't you omit all of that? Why don't you just do base times height? Seems simple to me. So go to the original picture. Up here. What is the base? 28. What is the height? And by the way, you better be picking a right answer. How about 24 too? Since you got decimals, that dot for multiplying is a terrible idea. You're going to multiply all that out, and I think you get answer choice C. Now remember, this one's total surface area, and this was lateral surface area. I want to look at question 13 with that W business. So wouldn't that be, and I'm going to change that to X. So in that X trades with 12, 12 trades with 10, and 10 trades with X. So you're going, huh? It's okay. I got it. Wouldn't that be 6 boxes? Keep going. You know what you're doing. Okay, of those 6, do you know 12 times 10? Yep, 120. And real quick, what is 10 times X? If you say it faster, you'll say it. Yep, 10X. I know, you feel bad now. What about 12 times X? That's 12X. What's 12x's and 12x's and 10x's and 10x's? How about 44x's? So that's 44x's plus 120 plus 120. And if you read this story, it equals 1032. Now, I could have put the 120 and 120 together, but I figure you were stressed out enough with the x's. No point in adding to your misery. You're going to put all of that in y1, and you put all of that in y2, and you get the answer of B, 18. Yeah, so much for hard. I know. I make it easy. What about like question 15 or something? I like this one a lot. It says lateral. That's base height, base height, base height. I just need those rectangles. So base height, base height, base height. Why? Because I know there's 3 rectangles and 2 triangles that are glued together to make a rectangle. So wouldn't that thing be 15 tall? So 15, 15, 15. Go to the triangle. I need the 3 outside numbers. How about a 5, a 6, and I don't know. 5, 6, I don't know is X. 15 times 5, I think it's 75. I hope it is. And then 15 times 6 is 90. And 15 times X is 15X. Learned that the hard way. And now you have equals 285. Put that in Y1. Put that in Y2. Solve it. I think you spit out 8. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If not, find tutorials. Have a great evening.